So that was the story of my first delivery experience. And if you are here, you're a woman, you're watching me, and you are trusting God for the blessing of the fruit of the womb, my encouragement for you today is that you should keep holding on to God. Don't lose hope. Don't lose hope. Keep your eyes on the promises of God, not the calendar. Take your eyes off the calendar. Keep your eyes on the promises. The same God who did mine would definitely do yours. The story of my delivery, the experience in the hospital. I want to put it out there that the hospital that I used was a private hospital, and that private hospital was attached to my spouse's, it was part of the benefits, work benefits. Normally in Nigeria, I also have the same benefits in my own place of work as well, but I used his own, his own hospital benefit for the delivery of my child. And it was a private hospital. I don't know whether that would apply, what applied in that place, the experience I had. I don't know whether it would be the same with the general hospital, that's the government hospital. I wouldn't know. That was the only bad experience that I had in Nigeria, before I left. So I don't, this is my own personal experience. So it may not be the general norm, but this is my testimony. This is what happened to me. It is my story, and I'm the one, saying it live, just the way it is, raw, unedited. It is my story. So I just want to put that out there. Okay, moving on from that experience, I also want to chip in something that will help our young ladies out there, young or married ladies, young and ready to be married, or trusting God for spouse, for a partner, or even you might even be in a relationship, in a serious relationship that may lead to marriage. I want to encourage you. Please pray. Parents, let's pray for our children. I'm also a parent to 3 adult children. I also have a teenager that I pray for them all of the time. In my first video, I think I talked about having a good support system. It is very, very important at every stage of one's life. We need good support system. Your support system might just be your parents, your own parents. They might just be your friends, friends of your contemporaries. Your support system might be older friends, maybe at work, maybe in school. We need people around us, people that can pray for us, people that can put their hands on our shoulder and tell us, you know what, I'm praying for you. People that we can talk to. I never really had that while I was growing up, and as a young adult. I was very, very independent. I didn't trust people because of the kind of upbringing that I had. I couldn't really trust anyone. And coupled with the fact that, I would think to myself, if I talk to them, if I talk to somebody, maybe they won't have time for me, maybe they won't listen to me, maybe, and it all boils down to the way I was raised. I was raised, in fear. I was always very, I was full of fear. Even though I am, born again, child of God, I would say my spirit man, was regenerated, but my soul, the real me, my emotions was not regenerated. Why? Because it was a trauma that I went through, and I didn't deal with the trauma. I didn't talk about it. Nobody, I didn't have the opportunity to talk to anyone about the trauma I went through while growing up. The trauma of, being punished and not being corrected when I made a mistake, or when I make a mistake. I was always being punished and not corrected. Mind you, while I was in the elementary school, my guardian, people of influence, the person of influence in my life at this point, she would, when I make a mistake, she would, she would have dealt with me at home. Then she will come to my school. She will come to my school, to my school principal or headmaster in elementary school. She will report me to the headmaster. They will cane the hell out of me. It continued while I was in this, while I was in high school, middle school, junior high school. The same thing continued. I think she stopped when I was maybe when I was in grade 11. That was when she stopped. She would trash me at home. She would still tell me, I'm coming to your school to report you. I think this person just takes pleasure in, me. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what was. I don't know the reason why I was treated the way that, sometimes I sit down and I think about it. Why would this person, I can't explain. Even up to this very present moment, I cannot explain, and I can't imagine somebody doing that to a child. Because I was just a child, and I wasn't a bad child. Because I was constantly told that you are not with your mom. You are no more at home. You are in a different place, so you can't. So I was, in fear, always in fear. Okay. So remember, I was talking about parents praying for their daughters, not just the daughters, even the male children. So, and I want to talk about an occurrence, something that happened to me before I eventually, met my first husband, the guy that I got married to. Before I met him, I've had few other suitors, who asked for my hand in marriage. So there was this particular guy that he was also working in the financial. I was, and we were working in the same building, but he was working in a financial finance company. Then they used to call, in those days they call them finance company. So we're on the same building. I was with a different establishment. He was working with a different establishment. So we met through his cousin, who was my colleague, his older cousin, and we were friends. And he actually ticked all of my boxes, what, the kind of person that I wanted. I was a tall, slim, young lady, and I was also looking for somebody that is equally tall and taller, somebody taller than me, somebody who is a professional. He was an accountant, and so I was also looking for a professional. Looking, he ticked all of my boxes, and we became friends. We would go out together, lunch, weekends, we go out together, and he would come to my house. At this point in time, I was living with my uncle, my mother's younger brother, who is late now. May God rest his soul. Okay, so he will come to the house to visit me. My uncle loved him. Why? Because this guy will come to the house, he will prostrate. We are Nigerians, we are Africans, we are Yorubas, we have culture, and the culture is if you have to greet, you have to greet very well. You have to greet the right way. So this guy, he knows, he's very, he was a cultured person, so very respectful and all of that. And he will call me, my uncle loved him, and to be sincere, I took to him as well, and I think the relationship has gone maybe like 6 months or even more. Then he wanted us to define the relationship, because we are friends, we go out together, that's okay. He's a Christian, I'm a Christian. We weren't going to do anything silly, just be friends, and anything, if we want to take it further from that point, it's okay, but let's see how it goes. So it was like that for a while, and one day, he was like, so what's going on? What are we doing? Are we, and so he wanted us to, to the relationship to become a courtship, not just friends. He wanted us to start courting. So at this point in time, I don't even know where that wisdom came from. So normally we would go to fellowship together. He would come, we would maybe look at the scripture together, and so one day I asked him, his parents, he lived in another city while he was in Lagos. I was also in Lagos. So I asked him, I said, I'm like, so how many siblings do you have? He told me, oh, he has just a sibling. There used to be 2, but he lost his older brother, so he was the middle child, and he has a little sister. So now automatically he now becomes the older, the eldest child with just 1 sibling. So that means there are just 2 of them in the family, 2 children. And in our culture, it's not all of the time that you have, it's rare that you have parents with just 2 children. So when he said that to me, I'm like, 2 children, and you are the first. You have just 1 sibling, a girl. So I think he must have seen my countenance and all, and he began to tell me the story of how he became, how he was promoted from being the middle child to the first child, and what actually happened to his brother. Or maybe I asked him what happened to his brother. He told me that his mother is businesswoman. She sells she sells clothes in one of the big markets in the city where they are based. She's a clothing merchant, and that so because of rivalry, market rivalry, business deals and all of that, his older brother was bewitched. He was sick, and after a while, I mean, he passed, and and the passing was as a result of whatever they did to his mom, in the market environment. And I was taken aback. And from that day, I began to pray. And my prayer point was, God, just show me this person. Show me. I want to know more about this person. I don't know where that wisdom came from. I just began to pray that prayer. I think I must have prayed that prayer for him maybe about a month or thereabouts. Then one day, God showed me a revelation of how this friend of mine was in our house, and we were together, and it began to rain, and it was it was a storm. It was a terrible storm. So he had no choice but to sleep over in my house in the dream. So in the morning, when we woke up in the morning, he had to use the bathroom in my house. So he was in the bathroom. He was having his bath, and he called me to request for a towel. So it's a dream. I mean, it was a dream. Anything can, So in the dream, I got a towel, and I took the towel to him to give him the towel. And as I opened the door of the washroom, I saw him. He was inside the bath. He was standing in the bath. I didn't see any other thing. The only thing that I saw was his waist. I just saw his waist, his torso or waist. That was what I saw. I didn't see the legs. I didn't see the upper body. I only saw the waist. I didn't see the waist down. I did not see the waist up. I did not see. I just saw his waist alone. And on that waist, I saw charms, cowrie shell. He wore like a bead. He wore it around his waist like a bead. And I woke up. When I woke up from that dream, wow, what is this? I intensified on the prayer. I kept the prayer up. I kept praying the prayer. Lord, I just want to know this person. Show me this person. Don't let me make mistake. I want to know this person. I think about a few days after, it was on a weekend, on a Saturday. He was to come to the house so that we can, go out together. And I had dressed up, and I was waiting for him, and I just took him. I just lay on my bed, just a wee nap. And as I was, as I took the nap, I think it must have been a revelation, I saw this same, friend of mine coming into my room. So when he got into my room, then I didn't see him again. All I saw was something like a bird on my head, like perching on my head, cutting off, just perching on my head with the beak like that. And I was dreaming, and I woke up again. When I woke up, I said to myself, okay, this is it. No, this person is not for me. This person is not for me. This person is not for me. I said, this person is not for me. Not quite 20 minutes, he came in. I was waiting for him. We were to go out. He came in. And when he came in, as the moment I heard his voice, my countenance just changed. And when he came in, and I'm the kind of person that I really don't know how to hide my feelings. I'm trying. I'm a work in progress. You could say, okay, I'm a pastor, I'm a preacher, I'm a woman of God, but I'm also human. I really don't know how to hide my feelings, like that, And don't forget, this was a long time, it's a long time ago. I'm talking of over 30 years ago. So when he came in, my countenance, my face was all over the. I was like, what happened to what's wrong? We're supposed. In fact, I think I took off my shirt, my dress, I was like, oh, but we're supposed to be going out. I thought you should. I mean, why are you not dressed? I said to him, no, I'm not going out. He said, but we agreed. We agreed on the particular time we are going. I said, I'm sorry, I'm not going out. What happened? At that point in time, I began to have headache. I had this dream where something was, So I said, I have a headache. I'm sorry, I can't go out with you today. Maybe next time. He begged her, let's go. I already booked. So I said, no, I'm not going. So he said, okay, let's stay here and let's hear and be talking. And so he sat. Everybody, if whatever question he would ask, then he said, it seems you are not in a good mood. I think I better be going. After maybe like an hour. So maybe to give you time, maybe did anything happen that you don't want to talk about? So he left. And from that point, I would not allow him to visit me in my house anymore. I would not do anything with him. Then I told him, I had to tell him that, you know what, that concerning his request that we take the relationship further, that I don't think it's going to work. I think he should look for another person. I like him, he's a nice person, but I don't want to continue with the relationship. He was devastated. He couldn't believe it. He was so at this point in time, he also got a job in a bank as well. He already got a job, a new job in a bank. And because of me breaking off the friendship and all of that, he had to go back to the bank to tell them that he wants a transfer outside of Lagos, that he was leaving Lagos. So if he had to stay in his family outside Lagos, so I would have been the only reason for him to stay in Lagos. And if I'm telling him, I can't be with him, then he's going to get a transfer and leave Lagos because there's nothing for him in Lagos. And I said to him, you know what? I'm sorry, it's not going to work. So he cried, he felt so bad but he got his transfer and he left Lagos. And we tried to communicate for a while, but after a while I stopped. I put a stop to all of the communication and all of that, and that was how that went.